Hello everyone, it is Jeanette the Oracle. I was feeling pulled to come and do an Oracle Talks. I know it's been a minute, but yeah, I was definitely feeling that vibe, and the vibe was essentially being here to hold space for messages that can come through to help our hearts, help our minds, help our spirits during this time. Because there's almost this feeling, this sense of, oh, hello to everyone coming in, welcome. Understandably, of course, there's a sense of heaviness, confusion, maybe wariness, mental wariness about how to navigate this world, how to keep going, how to, not give up hope. How to keep pushing forward, how to kind of relight the inner flame, if you will, in the pursuit of justice, in the pursuit of personal sovereignty, and just like a variety of things. It's just all of that, and it might be amplified by this Pisces season, even though we are in an Aquarius lunar cycle, but the sun is in Pisces, and we have a couple energies and planetary energies in Pisces. So yeah, I'm just feeling into that, and like, okay, what is there that Spirit has for us, that Mother Father Source has for us to help us through and with these challenges that we're facing that are not new, right? The challenges that we face are not new. But yeah, just a message for those who may be feeling discouraged or feeling like they're trying to get back to center, trying to recalibrate, trying to get the clarity back again that they had before, and want support and guidance in being able to do so. So if that's resonating with you, I know that was a little bit of a tangent, but if that's resonating with you, put that in the comments here on this live, or comment below when you see the recording, whenever you watch this. And let's see what messages Spirit has for us. I hope all of you are doing well, or as best as possible. First and foremost, to set the space, I ask that you take a few deep breaths to center into yourself. Full inhale and full exhale, making sure you are definitely filling your entire lungs, upper, middle, and lower lungs, with air on both, on the inhale, and removing as much air as possible on the exhale, really allowing yourself to fully be present. And as you do so, you may have your eyes opened or closed. If you're having difficulty like staying focused, you can close your eyes. If you need to feel a little bit more grounded, you can open, whichever is your preference, right? And in this sacred space, and you can say this in your own voice or in your own mind, we want to bring ourselves into energetic coherence with our true soul nature, our core star essence. And we want to ask that essence to remove any blocks or hindrances to that coherence, whether they are occurring physically, emotionally, or mentally, at any dimensional level, whether they are occurring unconsciously, subconsciously, or consciously. And asking that this core star essence bring all of our humanity, all of our soul, all aspects of our being into, again, perfect energetic coherence with its true nature. opening up all energetic pathways and allowing that core star essence, that true soul nature, to shine through unencumbered, to bring balance and healing and clarity and elevation of our vibrational frequency so that we may do so. Let any burdens that we are carrying drop away. May we be elevated and liberated and consumed by our true soul nature, our core star essence. May our energy fields, our auras be cleared. May they become vibrant so that that inner light, that inner sun shines through. And continue to stay connected to the breath, continuing to breathe on purpose and in purpose. And as you notice these shifts, you can repeat after me or just hold the intention in your mind, setting up a sacred space. So I welcome in first and foremost, the power and the presence of the spirits of the directions, east, south, west, and north. I also welcome in and forth the power and the presence of the spirits of the elements, air, fire, water, and earth. I welcome in the power and the presence of our elevated beneficial ancestors in heaven. Our elevated beneficial guides, masters and healers. Our personal guardian angels and personal guardian protectors and warriors of light. I call in and welcome the power and the presence of the archangels, Raphael, Michael, Gabriel, and Uriel. And I ask our spiritual family, our spiritual team, to set and hold a sacred container for both our healing and our protection. Let this energetic container also strengthen and amplify and also emanate the same true core star essence of our individual souls, so that we are also relieved of the burden of trying to shift our external reality. Support the raising of our vibrational frequency. Support the neutralizing and clearing of any negative energies, entities, spirits, thought forms, psychic cords, or attachments from us, from our energy fields. And please purify, sanctify, and divinitize us. And bring us in harmony energetic harmony, vibrational harmony with the realms of heaven. And please allow the messages that I will be channeling today come through in a way that is easy to understand for the person that is engaging with this experience, whether that be through feeling, through knowing, through sight, whatever is easiest for them. Let this experience also serve as a dispensation from the heavenly realms to restore places that are depleted energetically, to lift the fogs from our mind, to ease the burdens of our heart, and to neutralize and remove pains in our body. Let us be like lotus flowers, opening to the grand divinity that is available to us always in all ways. So continue to stay connected to your breath. And I want you to do about 5 deep breaths on your own. Really, really feeling into and allowing yourself to receive the massive amount of healing and elevation and liberation that is being made available to you. Hello to everyone coming in. I'm saying hi, waving. If you could please share this live with folks you feel would benefit from this message, especially the experience in the moment, I would greatly appreciate it. And for those who have just come in, the purpose of Oracle Talks today is to provide guidance for those who, interesting, I got the word disappointed. Which is different from the energy from earlier, because it was more about, I would say more discouragement. But there's disappointment energy. So let's see what Spirit has first though. All right, hope everybody's doing well. Let me know in the comments how you are feeling, what's coming up with you, if the word disappointment resonates with you. Also, if there are specific things that you are wanting help with, definitely put it in the comments, because there may be some messages that come through that will speak to you directly. Welcome, welcome. Thank you all for joining. If you could also please like or love the video, it'd be great. It helps to circulate it within the Instagram ecosystem. Okay, so I'll be channeling a message from our elevated beneficial ancestors in heaven. They're the ones that want to speak specifically. So again, these are elevated beneficial ancestors in heaven. So not problematic ones, not ones who are still, might be going through life review or suffering in any kind of way. These are elevated beneficial ancestors in heaven. They reside in the heavenly realms. Jamie says, the word definitely resonates. As we were creating sacred space, I was thinking to myself how different life would be if I felt seen and understood by my immediate family. Yeah. Welcome. Thank you for saying hello, Altruistic Ash. We're doing Oracle Talks, so I'm getting guidance from elevated beneficial ancestors in heaven for us right now. Initially, I was getting pulled to come on for Oracle Talks because of, just the amount of emotional and mental heaviness and desire to be able to recenter and struggling with that I felt in the spirit and collectively, and also obviously I feel that at times too. But the word that came through just now as I finished setting up space was disappointment. So it seems that we need to speak about or get a message regarding how to deal with or handle that. It has been a minute. I definitely have not been getting the call to come, so I've been obedient. It's just been like, it's been a lot of it's been more a message of cooling the energy, because there's been so much Oracle Talks energy, like it's just been fire, fire, fire. So it's felt like, from whenever I last did a live or been doing lives regularly, it's just been feeling like let the energy cool. So yeah, just been letting the energy cool. All right, so yeah, let's get the message out. I don't remember what time I started, so I'm assuming it still times out after an hour, so I'll try to keep up with things. Not spend too much time. At the very least, for folks, when you go back to rewatch this, the healing that's available from the setting up of the container is good. All right, so cards out. So far we have our and so for those of you who've done my divination through tarot course, which is linked in the bio, I'm going through I believe I call it the pathway spread in that course. So I'll be doing that and expanding it. So if you're familiar, then you'll be able to follow where the placements of the cards are. In order to save time, I'm not going to show the spread, but so we have Knight of Swords or Prince of Swords in this deck, the Thoth deck. So that's the east direction. And in the south direction, we have the World card, Major Arcana, of course. In the west direction, we have Ten of Cups. And north direction, we have Prince of Swords. So it's interesting, we essentially have all the elements here because I associate the World card with Earth energy. So we technically, in a way, although it's still only a Major Arcana, but it resonates with Earth energy. So that was the Knight of Wands for the north. And then in the center thus far, I haven't expanded this yet, in the center thus far is the King of Swords. Oh, well, so this is very, a very cut to the chase kind of message. With double knights here, this confirms what just came through. But this Knight of Swords is spiritual warfare, right? Like and spiritual warfare can be something as innocuous as being perceptive of just the amount of mental, emotional, as well as obviously physical chaos occurring and being overwhelmed by that. When it relates to specifically disappointment, rather than the stuff I was talking about at the beginning, this is ego. So it's internal spiritual warfare, you at war with self. the action is the World card. Now, as it relates to dealing with, the gamut of external, mental, emotional, or even physical chaos, this is protection, right? So, when's the last time you've done a spiritual bath? Or used sacred smoking techniques, whatever that's going to be, to clear your energy field, or worked with crystals that specifically do that to clear, like, as well as protective things. Again, you can do protective spiritual baths, you can do protective, kind of smudging, protective work with crystals, whatever the rest of your spiritual team or spiritual practices are. But this protection piece is really important if you're experiencing more of that, kind of more of that spiritual warfare. Yes. All right. One of the things that can happen when it comes to maintaining those practices, if you find that you have difficulty doing so, is really circling back and remembering that those practices aren't there to be reactionary. They are preventative in nature. So they stop mess essentially before it starts. And if you're constantly allowing certain things to slip like that, it's less about there's less benefit in like admonishing yourself from that, and more about really being conscious and aware of where we are as humanity, what is emerging, what healing and liberation really looks like, and how you essentially need to armor yourself to intentionally walk through your day rather than being at effect from your day and whatever's going on by others. Because we're only sovereign in ourselves. That's another thing with this. This is a sovereign energy. Right. Proactive routines versus reactionary cleanup. Sometimes you need to do more than what you've done before. Sometimes what you're doing just needs to be upgraded, and not necessarily the frequency needs to be increased, right? So that's where you get to play. That's where you get to be creative and see what actually works for you. And that may change in different periods, but all of those kinds of considerations, that's what needs to happen, right? So there's a lot of that in terms of the external Nine of Wands energy. Now for the internal stuff, and this again would be related to the disappointment piece, this is talking about having perspective on the situation. There's timing in this as well, right? Perspective could be, do you have the skills for certain things? If what you were going after didn't actually pan out, it might be an indication that you need to upgrade something, right? It could be an indication that there was something about that person, place, or thing that didn't work out where it would not have been a beneficial engagement, right? Or not necessarily malicious, just not beneficial. Wouldn't have been long lasting. It would have been more trouble than it's worth. Or there could be other bigger issues behind the scenes that you were not privy to, and you really just got like saved from a big headache. Or simply, it's just not the time, which is the most frustrating thing, right? For those of you like myself who are not patient. because when something's with the other stuff, you have action you can take, right, to move the energy. But when it's just a matter of not the right time, it's more that maintenance energy, and that can be hard to deal with, right? Now, another message coming through with this, especially for those of you who are resonating with the disappointment piece, the mind is strong. Your awareness and your perspective, your consciousness is strong. You just have to be good about when those thoughts arrive. First, understand and know that your ability to perceive that a negative thought is coming up that is about to have you spiral, you're masterful in being able to see that now. And you're also at a place where you have enough willpower to stop it before it begins, and to kind of check yourself. So there's already mastery here. Like the world card is the final card in the major arcana. Like there's nowhere else you have to go. There's nothing else more that you have to learn in that regard. Like you already are masterful. You're just actually doing the thing in the moment. Right? So the disappointment or the ego, negative ego coming up and all of that doesn't mean that something's wrong. Because that's just life. But there's already mastery here, so it's not like, oh, there's more work on myself that I have to do. Like that's not, I don't think that's happening, but in case that is happening for whoever might be watching, whether live or on the recording, yeah, you're good. Like there's not an issue here. With the 10 of Cups, also giving, when it comes to disappointment thing, a reminder again about mastery of self that's already present. It's a 10, so you've already reached it. So there's nothing wrong. Okay. Now, if it's the kind of external spiritual warfare, whether again that's the being overwhelmed by what you're picking up, or in those very rare cases where you actually are experiencing spiritual warfare, there is a lot of support to help you in this work of protection. Okay. And hopefully, again, if you were here during the process of me setting up the container for this Oracle Talks, you felt that. You had a direct experience of that rather than name only. And you can call in that support, but it's all there for you. With the Prince of Wands here, this is the strategy for being able to do this action of the world of protection piece. And what this is saying is this is all in the spirit. This is all in the mind. This is basically a decision. It's a decision and a choice that you have. Let me actually scroll back because I feel like I missed some comments. Let's see. Disappointment resonates with me as I've been unable to release some blocks that I know will open me up to more manifestation. Yeah. Welcome to new folks coming in. Yeah, this is just a decision. So there's no emotional heavy lifting that has to happen, whether again, external, internal stuff. There's no, not necessarily like major physical things that need to shift outside of the things I already addressed from here. But your approach to this is a decision. And it's something that you actually can do really quickly and easily. There's no hindrance to that. So even the experience of disappointment, which really is a thought, the The root emotion of that is going to be, or emotions, probably going to be sadness and possibly some shame or guilt, right? But that's from a framing of the mind. One moment. Okay, so for this King of Swords here, this is reiterating that message about help can come quickly when you call, and your experience within yourself can shift quickly with a decision. But this is definitely higher consciousness, essentially there to help take the reins rather than human mind. This is also showing higher perspective on things. So I'm going to expand this. So for those of you who are familiar with the spread, the King of Swords was the center card, so now that has expanded. Then we have the 10 of Pentacles, 7 of Wands, 9 of Wands, 5 of Cups, and 6 of Pentacles. Yeah, this 5 of Cups is representing the state, the perspective that we have. But the environment is the 6 of Pentacles, which is showing that everything is actually in balance. So this, again, is internal work. The center card now is the 9 of Swords. So again, the spiritual warfare, whether it is you being inundated by the external or internal warfare, right? It's one of the two. Circumstances are what they are. Obviously, we're not ignoring circumstances, but to be honest, if this is in the environment, I mean, I already was getting that vibe, but it's affirming that everything actually is okay right now. It has been okay and it's going to be okay. Even if things aren't like what you think they should be, what they've been in the past, not as good as you would like, or as you feel you deserve, etc. You're safe. You're good. Opportunities are there. You are actually fine. The world around you is also fine. The world around you, not necessarily like the world itself, because obviously there's lots of things going on in the world. But again, for those who are getting this message either on the live or the recording, you got to actually be honest about this and not let this make you think that this isn't actually the reality for you and your world. I just realized the word on the bottom of this card is actually disappointment. So again, yeah, that disappointment can be either internal ego stuff or external disappointment in what's going on in the world around you. But that is a framework that you have the ability to shift and change, and you need to, because it is actually registering as spiritual warfare. And you have to focus, we have to focus on protection. To be honest, I feel like it's a both and, because we're all getting inundated externally, but I'm sure all of us are also dealing with internal stuff. The one I do feel is safe. Yeah. Interesting. I want to dig a little more into this disappointment, though. I don't know how we're doing on time. Can anyone actually? It doesn't give me a timer up here, and I don't remember what time I started. But does anyone know? Is there a timer on your side of things to let me know how long I've been on? So I don't want to get too deep if I only have like 15 minutes left. Oh, I know that that's the time, but I don't know if it says, like, for the viewer side of things, how long the stream has been going. I just don't remember what time I started. Thank you, though. Let's get more about this disappointment piece. Okay, so whatever it is only one thing. It's one specific thing that we are disappointed about. Which I'm actually going to guess, with the cards that are out, that it's actually a personal thing and not with the external world. Broader external world, I mean. It's our lives, it's our things that are immediately relevant to our individual lives. Okay, so I got the Judgment card, Star card, and Knight of Pentacles. On the bottom of the deck was the Strength card. So we have the opportunity to start something again, or to kind of re-embark on a particular path with a person, place, or thing. And essentially, we need to have courage around the vision, the hope, the dream, and get to work doing the actions that need to be done, that we do know already provide success, Oh, so it's kind of, it's almost feeling like a not wanting to start again for fear of getting the same results. Is that resonating? Whatever the thing is, person, place, or thing, right? That you're disappointed around. Um, it's something that has circled back around that does have essentially new life breathed into it. It might not have like just happened, but it's still like relatively recent, whether it's, a couple days, couple weeks, or a few months or whatever. It has revived, or the parts that the word that's coming through is the standard for the future, like that has survived. That has been recovered from the ashes and is, newly budding. And essentially, we're being asked to protect the seed, protect that which has survived the phoenix process, and to water it, to give it nourishment, give it attention, to take the actions that you know you need to take. Now that you've had the experience, you know now what to do and what not to do. And more often than not, the second time we come around to something, it usually means and requires a simplifying, possibly a delegating. But yeah, you got to have that fire to push through. So maybe also part of this Knight of Wands energy is strengthening your willpower. Hello to folks coming in. Yeah, because everything isn't supposed to, what I was getting with just now with this 10 of Cups and 10 of Pentacles is that there's actually a lot of support and a lot of resources available to you, but all of that is actually not necessarily supposed to be reinvested back into whatever has just gotten resurrected recently. Hello, welcome. Not that it doesn't require investment, but it's not requiring like the 10 of Pentacles level of investment. It's that Knight of Pentacles is smart and strategic now. But yeah, so don't let whatever this disappointment energy is, or this Knight of Swords energy is, prevent you from doing the Knight of Pentacles behavior or actions. Because yeah, there's much more that's available for you to focus on. So essentially, the word nest is coming through. I was about to say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And that's not from a place of like It's not from a place of fear, although that's obviously like good, just like common sense advice, but it's more about you won't actually be able to get to the other things that are part of your soul's desires if you're so wrapped up in your ego's ambitions, just because the first time you engaged with the person, place, or thing, it didn't work out the way you think it needs to work out. Is that resonating? Is that making sense for folks? Because honestly, given that message that just came through, that negative behavior may be preventing you from actually like doing what you need to do for the other things that are new, that are bubbling up, that are more important, because they're like truly new as opposed to resurrected. Just got on, but everything I heard sounds about right. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, 10 of Wands and Temperance with the Sun at the bottom. Again, the support, the resources, spirit, etc. is there for you in your world, your corner of the world. Such an interesting energy. This finding that balance between drive and ambition, and not losing hope when you got disappointed about something. But the interesting thing is, whatever you're disappointed about, it's not actually dead. When you have the Judgment card up that come out, that's actually a card that speaks to resurrection, right? So whatever the thing is, it's not actually dead. It has been given new life, meaning that it's supposed to continue on. So the things that did not work, that did not survive, are not to continue on. They may take on a new form, like you might circle back to those, but you can't. There's no point of wasting energy trying to project if that's going to happen. Instead, you'd be better served focusing on what you have and tending to that, and recognizing again how stable your world is. And that stability may be, again, not what you like, because we have the 10 of Pentacles here. This is like the most recent past energy, but the environment is 6 of Pentacles. Obviously, we're talking about physical stuff. That's a big drop. If you're used to a 10 and you have the environment is now a 6, that's going to feel uncomfortable because it's a loss of 4, right? So it's not going to feel good, even though both are beneficial and abundant and wealthy cards, i.e. having your needs met and some wants. But you know, the amount of wants you get or the comfort that might be here with the Six of Pentacles compared to the Ten of Pentacles is obviously not as much. You don't have as much to play with. You don't have as much to invest. You don't have as much wiggle room. So if you've had a lot of this experience, Ten of Pentacles, then yeah, you're not gonna like the Six of Pentacles in your environment, right? Hence Five of Cups. But it's still a Six of Pentacles. It's not a Five of Pentacles. You're not in a state of loss. Not necessarily in a state of gain. Six is balance. Four is balance, right? Well, four would be like actual constraint, but six is like you still have some breathing room. So, but your mindset is still in the five. So that, you know, that trajectory from going from the 10 down, the 10 experience to the 6 in the environment, you might, again, still be reeling from that. And that's where that Nine of Swords, like having to deal with that internal battle is coming into play. It's like, no, protect your perspective, pull back, see things for what they are, be real about the actual circumstances in which you're in, whatever the context, because you're actually okay. You're actually all right. Like, that's what has to be done right now. Let's see. Self-sabotage and needing to let go of what was to have what is. Yeah, I mean, I think the so here's the thing with that though. The things have already been removed, which is why it's a 6 in the environment. Or our world, if you will. Things have already been removed. Mentally just not wanting to mentally having a difficult time shifting perspective to creating the new, because that experience of going from the 10 to the 6 was such that it might have been either the stakes might have been really high if it didn't take a long time, or it's been going on for a long time. Regardless, the mind has been trained to kind of, be in survival mode or brace for impact, and it's been bracing for a while, right? But the message, again, from our elevated beneficial ancestors in heaven is that we've already turned the corner, right? The resurrection, that the judgment card, it already happened. Again, we're at the world card here. Like, we already turned the corner. The cycle already completed. Like, we're already done with that. So the shift has to happen. They're definitely wanting me to stay on top of the spiritual clearing and protective practices too, because it's not just a mindset thing. It's also kind of when we're in their space and given the state of things in media. And I'll just say in media because, to be honest, like a lot of mess has been going on always, and our media just goes through periods where we get inundated with things versus not, right? And that's a different conversation, but There's always work to be done for liberation. The liberatory work is always there. But yeah, consider that also to be spiritual warfare of whipping up and trying to get you to not focus, because what needs to be happening right now is this work. You have to maintain soul sovereignty, your perspective around soul sovereignty, and stay in alignment with that. Yes, needing a budget right now, but still enough. Yeah. Thank you for the reminder. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I mean, listen. Not saying this is mentally easy, but we do have support. And regardless, central card is a Nine of Swords. This is a battle in the non-physical, essentially. The battle isn't in the physical. So even if things are not what you would prefer in the physical, that's not where the battle is. Let me get closing guidance. So I was just getting the, hold on. So what was just coming through was, I don't know if somebody here was thinking that, or it might be somebody on the recording and I'm like just picking up future timeline, but this thing of like, how long do I have to wait until this experience shifts? Welcome to folks coming in. So did anyone here actually like have that thought of like, how long do I have to wait and to be in this space of, you know, spiritual protection against my own self internally as well as externally, and not letting disappointment and not having things the way I prefer keep me from focusing on doing what I need to do to have gratitude for what actually has been preserved, as well as the new that's coming. Is anyone resonating with that? Welcome to also other folks coming in. That might actually be that Nine of Swords, to be honest. Yeah, it's happening, but slowly. Yeah. Okay, thank you for that feedback. So let's get a message for that. Temperance again with the Hangman. Knight of Cups on the bottom. All these knights. So there's definitely a lot of clearing happening, because I already talked about how we have double knights here. So that was affirming that kind of like spiritual warfare energy. But in the spread, we also have two nines. Underneath the Knight of Cups, we have the Nine of Swords, and we already have the Nine of Swords here. So it's definitely big contention here. But it's because something is actually getting liberated or elevated or removed. And that must be collective. Let me check in. I'm assuming it's collective since it's such a shared experience. Yeah. So it's something that's actually being removed from the collective of human souls. So it's an aspect of the parasitic spirit, if you will. Yeah, purging season for sure. I'm going to be nosy and see if I can get more information about that. We'll see if the technology will maintain. So y'all know how it goes. All right, Eight of Wands, Princess of Cups, Nine of Cups on the bottom. So it looks like on one hand, the speed of soul elevation that's happening, at least for portions of human souls, is such that this kind of like dislodging, if you will, of whatever these negative aspects is happening. And so collectively, it feels really uncomfortable. This may also hold true for you if you have difficulty sleeping at nights recently over the last couple months. Yeah, to be honest, I feel like, especially with the South Node being in Libra for a while, there's a lot of there's a deeper penetration, if you will, of cosmic judgment. So our highs, if you will, our experience of spiritual highs are, when they happen, they feel more intense, but also much more grounded. You may be feeling or having the experience of being like more of a true portal of your inner sun, your core star, through your soul, through your human experience that may be happening. And then like it's like the swing back is harder because there's so much pushback for that. There would also be a lot more access to your own energy. And so you may just be having difficulty feeling tired, period. So you may have a hard time even just falling asleep, much less sleeping well through the night. There's a lot of like recalibration happening here. There's a lot of messages coming through. I'm trying to like get it all. Sorry, I'm missing these comments. My guides are informing me this energy is connected to the financial systems globally and how it's been enslaving humanity. This is being cleared now. I mean, capitalism and opening, collective soul liberation. Yeah. Second. Lots of light, yeah. Judgment came out again. Judgments, Princess of Wands, and Justice. Yeah, King of Cups. Yeah. I feel like I want to cry. I'm not going to though, but it's yeah, a lot of this cosmic judgment, balancing of karmic scales, whatever terminology you want to use around the sovereignty of human souls and the protection of them, protection of the lights. Specifically. And there's a lot of protection. But it's important that individually we do our own parts within ourselves to essentially keep ourselves sane in the process. Because again, we are good, we're solid. Even if we're only having a Six of Pentacles experience when we're used to the Ten of Pentacles. That explains a lot. Thank you. You're welcome. I've been dreaming of children a lot. Oh, goodness. Like young children or like babies? Ooh, the emotions. Yeah, there's a lot of pain in the human souls. For the lack of protection in some ways, because there definitely is a lot of protection in place, but for those that are being in particular like truly liberated, for the most part, if you're following me or have been with me for a little while, like you are pretty much elevated or liberated, well, also elevated. But if folks are like newer to me, might not necessarily be, so they may really be coming out of being shrouded, if you will, preyed upon. But yeah, the vibe I'm getting is like a lot has really just been coming to light from all of our... A lot has been coming to light through the courts and through cosmic judgment. And again, a lot of specific karmic retribution happening, which means for the human soul's healing and whatever that is going to look like, and then for human souls who are behaving as oppressors healing, whatever way that's going to look like, as guided by the realms, heavenly realms. But for those that are not human, other types of karmic retribution. Because it's different things for different different beings. So hell exists, but it's not for human souls. Did not expect this to get that esoteric. Let me go back to these comments. Toddlers, mother and sister wound here for me to see. Our practices matter for real. Yeah. Oh, the toddlers. Ooh. There's a part that wants to like weep for the world. Like I'm good, but like I can feel that part's just like wants to be a vessel of crying their tears, and it's not mine to cry for. It's just the empathy. Okay, something's coming through about rainbows, so this might be for the children, in the spirit as well as in the physical. Welcome to folks coming in. Let's see, moving through some producer energy. This being esoteric, I can't wait to watch from the beginning. Right. Well, I mean, that wasn't why I was called to the table. The call to the table was like help with being able to stay centered in the midst of the chaos. I just started going in the direction that it goes. It is Oracle Talks. I haven't been in a while. Hello. Yes, welcome, Jazz. The energy is very heavy collective. Yeah, for sure. Obviously, right? I would say there's been a lot of death, but I don't necessarily know that is true or the case comparatively to what we've experienced within the last few years, even the last few hundred years, to be honest. It feels more like an increase of deprivation is the thing. Let me also say it's not to disavow what you're saying, but just for clarity about what I'm experiencing and feeling into. It's less of the death energy, which was more what I was feeling in the early days of the pandemic, because we're still in the pandemic. But yes, it's the deprivation, and the preying of the deprived on victims of that depravity. Among other things, but yeah. Welcome, folks coming in. Let's see. I feel the collective pain a lot. I always feel I needed to take on the responsibility to purge and allow the crying to come through. Do you recommend this or to choose not to participate? Well, so depending on the type of light worker you are, you have your own kind of functions. So I don't recommend that people process collective things, and I say collective just broadly, because that could be collective within your own family, friends group, world. I don't recommend people process through their own body, because it's just going to wreck your system, and I don't think it's actually an appropriate use of your power, because it is a use of power to do that. It's a martyr thing. There is a component where we have to do our own care for processing the emotions that we feel based off of what we think is right and wrong, right? Like we have to go through that. We have to go through that sadness and that stuff. Like that's our own. But when it comes to the collective, that's when we work with the spiritual teams to actually do the transmuting work, not our bodies. Our bodies, you've heard me say this often. Well, if you've been here for a while, you know I've said this often. Our bodies are altars for our soul, not the souls of others. So the purification, elevation, sacrifice, sanctification of collective, there's altar for that. right? But our body is for the altar of our soul. So purification work that we do, etc., that's for this, keeping this as open and clear and as aligned, really. Because when I'm talking about purification, things like that, it's not making you better. It's making you as directly expressing your true soul nature as possible. So yeah, the processing of that should be more external. So that's what, good ritual is for, working with the element of fire. If there are collective things with other priests or priestesses, if you're part of a religion or other spiritual group. But even then, like, for me anyway, when it comes to engaging in really spiritual warfare, because that's what we're talking about, you would be better served, or I think you'd be better served, like dealing with providing protective type work, bringing teams in to help uproot negative energies, those types of things, rather than trying to necessarily like ease emotional suffering or ease mental suffering. Although again, that does have value, but I think we have to be honest about certain things when it's like pervasive and consistent and persistent oppression or violence. There's only so much that can do. Like I think that other type of work is better served for those who are dealing with, like health issues and things like that, where there's a external environment of care that can be amplified in. But yeah, I think more so protective work and bringing in other teams to transmute and have access, so that they are essentially being directed and letting them handle it, and holding the prayerful intention either by yourself or in group for that is a better use of your own power. Because also the thing too is, if you make your body the battlefield, then that which is causing harm to other is going to come harm you. Like, it's, I mean, if you want to fight, you can fight. Also, I don't have a problem with that, because I do like to fight as well. But everything has consequences, so you have to decide what you're gonna do. The perception, one last thing on this, because it's too long of a tangent right now, but the perception of pain and suffering is an invitation to invite help and support there. Not for you to wallow in. Now, again, that is separate from your personal feelings about the thing. Like, that's different. But yeah, if it's like, and people do this with like nature as well too. Like, I can feel the earth's thoughts, or the spirit's thoughts, and all. Like, it's there to bring attention to, and you have the power to bring spiritual teams in, higher realms in, whatever in, to help that energy, rather than you actually being the place where that that process happens. Definitely feel the deprivation energy strongly. I've been getting a lot of reminders on not to allow the energy to warp the reality of abundance coming in. Yeah. So thank you for that comment, Jazz, because that basically like summed up essentially what the message was from the spread. Because it's the Six of Pentacles, Five of Cups, Nine of Swords, Knight of Swords as well. Welcome to folks coming in. I apologize I haven't been saying hi. Let's see. Yes, cast our cares and allow spirit to fight the spirit battles too. Yeah. And whoever the spirit team is, like, so if you're working with star races, if you're working with archangels, if you're working with, again, elevated beneficial ancestors, with the crystal kingdom, I mean, with the plants, with the trees, like there's so much help, y'all. Whatever you have an affinity to. But yeah, you don't have to if you want to be more effective. If you want to be more effective, try your best not to process on behalf of others. Process your own stuff, but try not to process on behalf of others. Welcome. Let's see. Balance, boundaries, the right internal focus is supporting me, doing my own internal work. That's all I can handle. Yeah, I mean, that is our responsibility, and it's also our responsibility to be proactive in expressing that in the external world, because we don't live in isolation. So our actions and how we show up in the world should be informed by our internal reality, which includes our, socio-political behavior, how we show up in relationships, etc. Like it's, it all should flow. Be more like a tree. Be more like a tree. Amazing. Love the alignment. I was saying a couple days ago to myself, I really miss Oracle Talks. Oh, yeah. Okay, I think we're good. Is there anything else popping up for folks? I'm gonna get closing messages. Welcome. This is a good time to remind folks that if you're looking for a way to essentially engage in this spiritual warfare in a way that is also safe, I do have the healing prayer for the oppressor in the link in my bio. And it is designed specifically to neutralize and provide a lot of healing in the spirit, not only for, a particular individual that you might be focused on for that prayer, but also for their ancestors, because when all is said and done, we all are going together. Like it's none of us actually gets left behind. And it doesn't mean that it definitely doesn't mean that behavior is excused. But when we talk about doing work in the spirit, if you really want to know if you are aligned with the highest and greatest good, like the discarding of human souls can actually be part of that process. There's that. Yes, trees. I had that hit the other day. Yay. All right, so closing guidance, Four of Wands, Ace of Swords, and Knight of Cups. That Knight of Cups keeps coming out. Elevation and liberation. Eight of Wands again on the bottom. All of this is soul work. That is where the power is. That is the message and the essence of this channeling. And this is what elevation looks like and feels like. And each of us has direct and easy access to this. You can and honestly should always be in counsel with yourself, with your own soul, before any other, in the spirit or in the physical. That you are the one that's a sovereign being. So, first of all, and last of all, preserve yourself. And as you do that, then you'll learn how to be an effective agent of change, of helping to preserve others. Human souls specifically. Alrighty, that was a message. That was a message. I need to come through. Alright, let's see. Oh, if you have not seen, for some reason, I've just started, well, me and a few others have just started a new membership space called Covenant. So it's now a new monthly offering where me and two others, Reverend Portia and Atia, are providing a spiritual home, cultivating a spiritual home for folks that, are in the soul family of Anderson Alchemy. We have sermons from Portia, affirmations and journal prompts from Atia. I'm doing live meditations in there, as well as, of course, like monthly member meetups. So this month specifically with the meditation and the member meetup is going to be focused on the full moon lunar eclipse that's coming up on March 25th. So the meditation will be focused on preparing for that. And then the member meeting, I'll actually be doing a specialty channeling for that message in particular. Given what just came through right now, I expect that will probably be pretty esoteric because it's going to be a Libra full moon eclipse. So I think it's going to be a lot more stuff around the cosmic judgment and all of that and some of the things that are being dealt with. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But that is there. So if you would like to join, you can sign up at the link in my bio. It is open to all, essentially, if you're called. And so it's not a launch thing or enrollment thing. Like it's there and it's available to come through. And it's a mix of live as well as on demand things. So, it's always there and available. And of course, if you can't ever, for some reason, can't do any of the live stuff, obviously the recording will be made available. So it'll be there for you. But yeah, so that's there. So come through for Covenant. And I believe the sermon is dropping on Sunday. I need to go back through my notes, but I believe the sermon is dropping on Sunday from Portia, and it's titled A Devotion for Discernment. A Devotion for Discernment is going to be the message. So I'm really actually looking forward to that. But yeah, so that's what's coming up. Come through for Covenant. We'd love to see you there. And things are going well at the incubator, and we have enrollment for the next round will be coming up sometime over the summer. I haven't decided when. I will know essentially by the end of March when that will start, but it'll be sometime in the summer. It'll either be July or August. So if you did not get a chance to come through for this first round of incubator, just give it a couple months. Enrollment will open back up and you'll be able to come through. But I'll know by the end of March what my schedule will be like and when I can actually do it again. So yeah, otherwise, hope you're doing well. For the entrepreneurs, I hope you have filed your taxes or on your way to doing so. Hang in there. I know for some it's rough, for others it's not, but for those of you where it's been rough, like, hang in there. Thank you. You're welcome. It's good to see you as well. But yeah, hang in there if it has been rough. Keep doubling down on what your why is, why you were in business, why you were called to it, etc. And yeah, as those messages were saying, like, if it's still here, stay connected to what that is, what has remained, and yeah, because it's important. It needs to be here. And if things have been going well, congrats to you for that. Big up yourselves, of course. Like, let people know. Like, it may feel awkward, especially when there are negative things happening in the world, but there are always negative things happening in the world. Please do shine your light. Please do celebrate yourself and the hard work that you put in, because it's not easy to run a business or a nonprofit, right? But yeah, stay prayed up. Stay on top of your spiritual practices. If it has been a while since you've done a spiritual bath, smudged yourself, or please go do that and get back on doing that regularly. Protect yourself. Stay, again, not only just external, but protect yourself internally as well too. Protect the altar of your soul, please, and thank you. It is appreciated. All right, y'all, love you much. Please, of course, like and share this. Hopefully Instagram won't be weird and the recording will save. We'll see. And yeah, if anything, reach out to me in my DMs. I'm there if you want to book a session. Links are in the bio. You know the deal. Love you. Bye.